Welcome to the show, Education in the Community. I am your host, Reverend Robert L. McKnight, and we have as our distinguished and esteemed guest none other than Miss Tamara Shiloh, and she is the proprietor, the owner, the founder of the Children Multicultural Bookstore there in Richmond at Hilltop. Welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us. And this is our second time around.
Yes, it is.
We're broadcasting from Vallejo. The last time we were in Berkeley.
Correct.
And I found your work very intriguing. And we had an opportunity before the show to talk briefly, and you have expanded it. You have not moved in terms of the geographical location, but you have in terms of the physical location in the mall.
Yes.
So we want to talk about some of what has been going on with you since you were last on the show.
Well, thank you. Well, as far as the store goes, there were three of us that started the store. A friend of mine asked me if I would join her in the store, and she asked another friend of ours, and we said yes. And we were a pop-up. We were supposed to be there November, December, and we did pretty well. That was in 2017, and so they asked us to stay, so we did, and so we did really well. Actually, we did pretty good considering the condition of the mall, the circumstance. They're in transition, so there aren't a lot of people in the mall now, but we were able to become a destination for a lot of folks, so that helped out a lot. And then last year, well, the first year, one of the partners, she decided she didn't want to do a brick and mortar. And so that left me and Robin. And then this year, she decided she wanted to just work with her, or last year rather, work with her nonprofit. So now I'm the sole owner of the store. We were upstairs near Macy's, and so they're getting ready to do some demo. 99 Ranch is moving in, and they're moving in right across where we were, so didn't want to get involved with the demo. So we moved downstairs. We're right across from Lord's Ice Cream, which is a wonderful location, of course, and very close to Center Court. And I have a lot more space now. I'm real excited about that. We're in the back of the store. We have enough space now where we can have birthday parties, meet and greets. We can do business mixers. We had our grand opening event there, and that was really nice. We had a Kwanzaa event there. Girls Inc., West Contra Costa County, they had a fundraiser there. It's just a place, I have enough space to do a lot of things. So now we're going to be offering free Black History classes. The classes will be no more than 20 kids, 2 classes actually. Second, third, and fourth graders will be in the morning, 10 to 11. Fifth, sixth, and seventh graders will be in the afternoon from 12 to 1. The classes are free. We'll be providing lunch and ice cream from Lord's across the way. The class, it's a 6-week program every Saturday, and we'll take off a week and then offer another 6 weeks. Black history is real important to our children, and we've been moaning and complaining about the fact that they won't teach it in schools, and so I decided if you want to see change, then you have to do something.
Be the change.
Okay, so I'm trying to be the change,
yes,
if you will, and so I'm real excited about it. Our children need to know their history. Other children need to know Black history.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, when you remove the label, it's just history, but it's history that isn't being taught. So we're really excited about that. We have a math tutor now. He tutors Fridays from 4 to 7, so kids can sign up, to talk to him. We're going to be doing science projects in the store. We're really excited about that as well. Some STEM, to get kids interested in STEM. The bookstore, it is a multicultural bookstore, and so we have books of all cultures, African American, Latino, Native American, Asian, South Asian, Filipino. We have language books, LGBTQ books. We have graphic novels, chapter books, disability books, books on diversity. So we tried to cover as many cultures as we could. We also have teen and adult books, but most of our books are children's books. And we have other things in the bookstore, but our focus is actually on books. So
that's great. Now, I was wondering until you said it was going to be a Saturday program, but even on the weekend, where are you recruiting your students from? Are they just children of parents who patronize the mall?
Not necessarily, because, well, actually, no, we can't just rely on that because there aren't enough people shopping at the mall presently.
Yes.
So I use the newspaper. I actually write the Black History column for the Post newspaper. And I do 2-minute vignettes for the gospel station, KDYA. So I advertise through those outlets, and I send out a newsletter as often as I can about the events that are going on at the store. And I attend a lot of social functions and networking functions to get the word out as well. And I do use social media. And so those are pretty much the platforms that I use in getting the word out. But like I said, we're capping the class at 20 kids, just because any more than that, I don't think a child really gets a really good education or a good sense of what you're trying to do. And that's pretty much it. The first 20 children who sign up for the first 6 classes, that's how it works. And then we'll have the next set, and they can sign up for that. Right now it's on Saturdays, just because that made sense. Now, if it makes sense to do it after school, then we certainly will look at that and offer that.
Yes,
absolutely.
That's
We're just
good idea.
Trying to do what we know would work pretty well for now, and then if it becomes a thing where many more kids are wanting to attend and they're willing to come after school, then yes, we certainly will offer it.
Excellent.
I actually had a parent ask me, well, are you doing one for adults? And I'm like, well, if I get enough adults that ask, then yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to do that. Yeah.
And that's good. You're so extremely modest. I thought you would mention it. But in addition to the bookstore, you're also an author of children books. Tell us something about the books, including the titles.
Yes, I apologize for not bringing the books. Yes, I'm writing a series. The series is called Just Imagine, What If There Were No Black People in the World? There are 7 books in the series. I actually wrote them 20 years ago, the first 5. But I retired a few years back and decided to rewrite them to make them more engaging and more fun for the kids to read. It is history. So I added some magic. So the main character can actually see and talk to the inventors and scientists as he travels, well, not travels, but his different adventures. So just to give you an idea, Book 1 is called Jackson's Magical Adventure with Black Inventors and Scientists. So he's going around the house discovering what black people invented or improved that we use every day.
Yes.
But while he's doing this, he can actually see and talk to the inventors and scientists because he has a magical necklace that his grandmother gave him.
I got it.
So each book is different. The second book, he and his cousin are going downtown and they're discovering things downtown
Yes.
that African Americans have invented or improved. The third one is about women inventors and scientists, African American. The fourth one is about black cowboys. The fifth one is about African Americans in aviation, like Bessie Coleman, Mae
Yes.
Jemison, the astronauts, Tuskegee Airmen. The sixth book will be about African American artists, sculptors, painters. And the seventh book, which I just thought about, will be about African music. However, it'll
Wow.
be about composers, pianists, opera singers, those folks that were writing and composing music around the time when Beethoven and Mozart were doing the same thing. So I think it's important that children understand that we write compositions like that as well. So the second book will be out in March. I think in your last show it was supposed to be out a long time ago, but with the store and everything else I had going on, it was a little difficult. So now
Yes.
my goal is to, and I'll have it out in March of this year. Yeah, so.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Tell us something about the books that you currently have. Is it limited to children, or does it go through adults?
No, we do have, we say books for kids of all ages.
All right.
And so
I like that.
our main focus is on children. We do have teen books. We have graphic novels that are very popular with the kids now. And we do have teen and adult, and we have adult books as well. Because when adults come in the store, we want to make sure that they can find something
Yes.
that they might want. And we have a little coffee area so in the front of the store, so people can just come in and sit down and browse through books if they want to. We also have a story time area in the front of the store where we do also story time every Saturday from 2 to 3. It's free, and parents just come in, and like I said, we read to the kids from 2 to 3, but we have toys and games on the floor so the parents and the kids can come in anytime they want to and just sit around if they want and read. They can read to their children if they want to. We just wanted to make it friendly and a go-to place, if you will. Yeah.
Well, that is good. That is outstanding. And of course, beginning next week, we'll be in the month of February. And February, thanks to the late Dr. Carter G. Woodson, now is African American History Month. You're going to have special displays of books that if someone wanted to stop by and say they wanted to brush up on reading on African American history or other topics, that they can just see it when they come in.
Well, actually, I have a Black History Resource Center that's there every day, all the time. Since I write books about Black inventors and scientists, I've accumulated a lot of research books, of reference books. And so what I've done is I put them all out and allow people to come in. So if you're doing a paper on Black history or just want to know more, you're welcome to come into the store. We have a seating area where you can come in and read the books if you want. You can't take them out, but they are available for anyone who wants to use them. We do have a nice selection of books about Black and Black history that people can buy if they want to also. But the bulk of the information about Black history are reference books, and so they have to remain in the store. But they are available to anyone who wants to come in.
Now, what about your availability? Do you speak to community groups? Do you stop by sometime, perhaps some of our senior centers, and share some of this information?
Yes, I do. And I try to do it all year and not just in February when I can,
Yes.
right? I have this thing, Black history should be taught all year, and it can be taught all year.
Yes.
But yes, I do. when asked, I do speak to schools. I do presentations to schools. I speak on the importance of teaching Black history all year.
Yes.
When I can. So I do that periodically. I teach a Black history professional development class, showing teachers how to incorporate Black history into their curriculum without changing anything. A lot of teachers, are a little apprehensive about doing this because they don't know Black history, and so I'm going to change that. And because they can't teach what they don't know, and they can't teach it if they don't have enough tools. And so in this class I provide them with that, so they will be comfortable to go out and teach the class. It's very practical. You don't need a PhD. You need to know the materials and how you introduce it to kids. You have to think outside of the box.
Yes.
I don't think our children can be taught like we were taught. I think you have to be more creative with these kids, and so I give them examples. They have tons of information, so it's a good class. So I'm doing lots of things to try to keep people engaged with Black history as best I can. So
you touched upon something. You said that the paradigm has changed. There's been a shift in teaching and learning, and that you don't teach the way we were taught. And thank you for that comment, including me in with you. Explain what you mean, that we don't use the same methods of instruction. What is it that needs to be different?
Well, first of all, let me say I am not a teacher. I don't have a degree in teaching. Like I said, for me, it's trying to be practical. And I do a lot of research on what they're doing with the children now. The various different educational tools that they're using. So the schools do recognize, and teachers do recognize that, no, you can't teach them the same way. So my thing is, for my class, we talk a lot about they see the pictures. I think that helps. They need to see Black folks.
All right.
We could talk about them all day.
Yes.
But I think, and if I don't have a picture of the actual person, then I show them what they invented or what they improved. A picture speaks 1,000 words. I believe that. Kids like games. I mean, they're all into videos, and I don't do that. But since that's their thing, then educational tools should be videos. And they are. People are really getting into the various ways to teach children math, English, and all the other subjects. And so I try to use the same tools to do that when I teach the Black history. But really, more from a practical standpoint, like I said, I try to use pictures, visuals, and talk to the kids and allow them to ask questions. One of the things I do in teaching the teachers is, do an interview session like we're doing right here. So I can be the student, and another student could pretend to be Carter Woodson. So let's talk to him about why did you even start Black history? Yes. I mean, just to give kids a way to think and analyze and work together. Just being practical. I mean, but not the way we were taught. You just can't stick a book in front of them and say we're going to have a quiz at the end of the. I mean, you can do that, but I don't think that works with our children today. Even with the literacy part, I believe that a lot. One of the main reasons that they say they don't like to read is because they don't see any books with them as the characters.
Yes.
And so I think they would be more interested in reading a book if they saw the book talked about the things that they do that are in reference to the same things all the other children are doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I find that to be true when they come into the store. I mean, they really get excited about seeing all the books we have with Black children on the cover. The Latino kids get excited about seeing them on the covers.
Yes.
So I think that that's a big thing with our kids. I think they need to see more books with them as the characters. I think it would help.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. You need to see a reflection of yourself.
Right.
If it's going to become your reality, that you're going to move to that level in which you have been challenged to understand,
Right.
and you're researching it, you see some reflection of yourself.
Exactly.
And you are an educator, because to educate means to bring out of you that which is already there, not to force feed you something that is totally alien.
Right.
That's what Carter G. Woodson calls the miseducation
Oh, gosh,
of the
yes.
Negro.
The miseducation.
And
Yep.
a book that I recommend that everyone reads, if you are serious about your education or the education of your children, you need to read Dr. Carter G. Woodson's The Miseducation of the Negro. And because it's still going on.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I do what I do, to try to help that a little bit.
And actually, you should be, but you don't want to limit yourself, a part of the required in-service or professional days that educators have, maybe 3 or 4 a year, a semester year. They have professional development days, and they do bring in speakers, outside resources. And in 1969, that was my job. I was hired as a consultant to teach teachers how to teach African American history.
Really?
At the 5th grade level.
Okay.
Every elementary school, then it was 4 through 6 was the grade configuration, K through 3, 4 through 6, then junior high. But in Berkeley, African American history was the required social studies. Every student in Berkeley had to take African American history.
Wow.
And so no one had been taught African American history. And so what Berkeley did, they hired a consultant for each one of the 4 through 6 schools: Columbus, Franklin, Malcolm X, Longfellow, and I'm missing one.
Wilson? No.
No, it's 4 through 6.
Oh.
But I know these 4 had them
Okay.
because we all would get together and talk and do retreats for the teachers. And they need to go back to that.
They do.
You know, they need to, and you would initially teach model lessons in the different 5th grade social studies classes. And then after you had taught maybe 3 lessons, then the teacher would prepare, you know, they're in preparation of it all the time, but then they would teach the 4th lesson, and then you would just go in and share with them and make available to them additional references, as well provide for them different resources. Either purchase them, the district, the library. Most libraries then develop a section exclusively for African American authors.
Wow. That's wonderful. We need more of it. And the other thing is, I think we still should advocate to get Black history taught in the schools. That is an issue. And but while they're advocating, we need to do something.
We need to do it. We need to do it.
And the teachers too. While we're advocating, they need to understand Black history, then we need to teach them. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I mean, but that's interesting that Berkeley is not doing it anymore.
Nope.
Isn't that something, how it just kind of, how does it just go away? But it did. I mean, that's another story, but.
It did. With the exception, they have an extremely modified program at the high school.
Oh, okay.
But then at the junior high schools, we offered African American literature and African American history at the junior high.
Oh.
At the high school, and we just celebrated the 50th anniversary last year, but at the high school, there was a department, and we offered history beginning with African civilization and the period from the slave trade through the end of the Civil War, and then from the Civil War through the Civil Rights Movement, and that was present then, because that was 69.
Oh, yeah, right, yes.
But now there might be 5 sections, because you have classical ancient African history, and then you have African civilization after the classical African civilization, and then you have the period that deals with the slave trade through slavery. And now you can come up to World War II. And then from World War II, you might have to add another one, because this is 2020.
Exactly. And we've done a lot up until now, still
up until
doing great things.
Now.
Yes. And that's another thing. Ancient African history should be taught as well.
Yes, it should be.
It
You
really-
have to go back to the beginning. You have to do Sankofa.
Really.
You have to go back to the past, gain
Exactly.
some knowledge of the past, which is history,
Right.
that will equip you with the tools that you now can understand the present.
Exactly.
And once you understand the present, you're in a better position to strategize and make plans for the future. But
Exactly.
you cannot separate them.
Right. And I need to know the complete history, not just part of it.
The complete history.
Right. And, you know, slavery, there was a lot more to slavery than just our
Than
oppression.
just what we see.
Yes.
It's a lot more. A lot
Right.
was
And
going
the more
on.
you read, the more you understand
Yeah.
why we were oppressed or why they did what they did to us. But that's another story. and
Another
we can
story
do that
for
another time.
time. But what I want to do is speak these words of encouragement to you, that you will continue with your endeavors, and to wish you the very best for this new year and this new decade, and to thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to come and share with us in education in the community. And until next time, this is Reverend Robert L. McKnight bidding you so long.